Hey, it's Styles from Brand Content Studios. Here's your content marketing quickie for the week of December 31st, 2019. 2019 is so yesterday. Let's say you're a digital publisher, which is easy because you probably are. We all are. But some of us do it to promote our brands, and other publishers are actually out there trying to make money with advertising. Of all the nerve! Tim Bourgeois at UiPath likes to look at trends in that area, things publishers will or should be paying attention to. And the news is kind of good. Digital advertising is still growing. Now, through this past year, we've seen and heard about challenges to the validity of the results for digital advertising. But we also learned nobody cares about that. So you brands are continuing to increase your spending on digital formats, up 17% during the first half of 2019, which is a net increase of over $8 billion. Total ad growth is only about 5%. Why is everyone drunk on digital advertising? Because there's the perception that you can accurately target people, because it's fairly easy to do, and because it's cheaper than a TV Super Bowl ad. If you're a publisher who wants more of those digital ad dollars, Tim says your task is to teach the market how much higher in quality your audience is and make it easier to buy ads from you. There you go. There's your 2020 to-do list. Other things Tim thinks you should know: podcasts rock. Reuters calls it a worldwide phenomenon, with 90 million Americans listening regularly. They can be used to repurpose and extend content and generate new revenue. And the appeal for advertisers is no longer a question. Marketers are projected to spend over $1 billion in podcast ads by 2021. Thing 2 you should know: creative is making a comeback. 2019 was about brands oversaturating the world with bad, useless, self-gratifying content. Writers and idea people are the only thing that can save you. People have the same technology you do. It's the only thing that can be a differentiator for you. Thing 3 is brand safety. The topic of ad fraud is not going away, and as we get real about it, publishers will be held accountable as well. Thing 4, advertisers are rethinking being at the mercy of the Facebook and Google monopolies. They'll be more and more open to smart alternatives. Those are all the things you should be aware of as a money-grubbing publisher. If we've heard it once, we've heard it 1,000,000,001 times. You should have a strong brand identity that includes a distinct brand personality and recognizable brand voice. And then you say, we've got a logo and a color palette. We're good. That personality stuff is just touchy-feely nonsense and really doesn't need to be thought through or taken seriously. Well, Christopher Ruvo tells us about a Lucid Press survey that shows if you could see your way clear to consistently adhere to a defined brand image in all your communications, your revenue could increase by as much as 1/3. So do you want money? Or is it more important to keep thinking you're right about voice and personality not being important? Brand management experts at over 200 orgs across a variety of industries were surveyed, and it's getting increasingly clear to them that with all the noise and competition out there, brand consistency can't be dismissed. Lucid Press wrote, "It has an extensive trickle-down effect that can boost your bottom line, brand status, and employee morale." I bet you'd be floored by just how many of your employees don't even know who you are as a company. So brands know it's important, but are they acting on it? Oh, hell no. 81% said they deal with off-brand content, and the more content they make, the more off-brand stuff there is. Think about taking some essential steps, like creating clear brand guidelines, get employees internalizing that brand voice, help them out with templates, and make sure all your comms adhere to the voice. People are creeped out by people who are inconsistent and that they can't figure out. So the last thing your brand needs is to be hard to know and love. We mentioned creatives as one of very few differentiators you can have going into 2020. So let's talk about how the best, most talented creatives like to work. It's as digital nomads. So if you get off on making creatives do 2-hour commutes and sit in a cube 9 to 5 and need a badge in order to go urinate, you will most likely have entry-level marketers, not entertainers and journalists, and your content will suck into the new year. Elaine Profelt writes that according to MBO Partners, 7.3 million Americans are digital nomads. That's 2.3 million more than just last year. So the rejection of work the way it was done in the 80s is solidly underway, especially for those in IT or creative. Gene Zaino is chairman of MBO Partners and says the reason's kind of obvious. People like the freedom to be able to do their best work how and where they do it best. Anything that gets in the way of the best work being done to them is just silliness. 44% of nomads are employed full-time, but by companies that get it. 79% of them are happy with that lifestyle, and while it's most popular with millennials, boomers and Gen X are totally on board. Of course, when something is proving to work well and be effective, there will be those who try to shut it down. Labor unions and California don't like this freedom to work and support yourself as you see fit hogwash. AB 5 is now in effect there, so suddenly, only 27% of independent contractors like writers, photographers, sales reps, artists, and designers qualify to remain independent solopreneur businesses. Similar laws are under consideration in New Jersey, New York, Oregon, and Washington. So hey, maybe your dreams will come true after all, and creative talent will be forced against their will to do your commute and pee with your badge. Lastly, and quickly, do you want to work like the hipster creative content makers do? Alrighty then. Hype Auditor surveyed 1,200 Instagram influencers and asked them what tools they like to use most to be as productive as they can be and keep that content output coming. Social Media Today reports that for photo editing, the winners were Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop Express. But Canva, Vasco, Snapseed, and Facetune were prominent on the list. For scheduling Instagram posts, the most popular choice was Later, but they like Preview and Planoly too. Interestingly, especially if you're an OG, platforms like Buffer and Hootsuite seem to be losing favor. For video editing, it's InShot and iMovie. For cutting down trees, the preference is still chainsaws over plastic knives. I'm kidding. They didn't ask about those tools. That's the Content Marketing Quickie for this week. I hope you have an exceptionally good new year and that you'll make this little thingy a part of it by subscribing. Back next week.